Hi class, today we're going to cover a couple of different topics. We're going to cover section 9.1 and section 9.5, and that's pretty much going to cover reflections for us. So if we look here at our first two examples, we see the E and the backwards E, and they have what's called that line of reflection in the middle. And when you have the line of reflection, it's the image and the pre-image, so the pre-image is the original thing, are the same distance from the line of reflection. So if we look here, if we actually measured that to there, those would be the same measurement. The same thing goes for when we have graphs. So if we look here at our picture on the right side, we have two triangles and it's reflected over the x-axis. So that means right over here. And so it's the same exact distance. These are 2 away, 2 away, these are 5, and these are 5, and the same thing will go for the third one. So let's talk about the different types of reflections that we will have on our coordinate plane. We have the reflection in the x-axis. So if we have a point, let's say we have our point 3, 4. And we're going to reflect that over the x-axis. And what we're going to do is just multiply its y-coordinate by -1. So our new point is going to be at 3, -4. See how the y-coordinate has been changed from a positive to a negative. All right, so let's stick with that 3, 4 point. And we are going to now reflect it over the y-axis. So we're reflecting over here. And to reflect it over the y-axis, we're going to multiply its x-coordinate by -1. So now, instead of 3, 4, we're going to be -3, 4. All we did was change the sign in the x-coordinate. And our last one is reflection over the line y equals x. Y equals x line is like if we have our y-coordinate is 1, our x-coordinate is 1. Our y-coordinate's 2, our x-coordinate's 2. So that's going to be a line that goes through our origin that goes that direction. So we're going to reflect over that. And instead of choosing that 0.34, because it's kind of close to the line, I'm going to pick something totally different. And we're going to do 3, or -3, 2. So now, in that, we're to reflect over the y equals x line, we're going to interchange the x and the y coordinates. So what was my x? My -3 is now become my y coordinate. And my 2, which was my y, is now my x. So over 2 and down 3. Now that is going to be reflected over our y equals x line. So keep those 3 rules in mind when we do these next few problems. Graph both the pre-image and the reflection. So reflect triangle ABC with vertices A at -5, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 3. And that we're going to mark with an A. B is at over 2 and 0. And C is over 1 and up 2. So we're going to have our original image here. Go ahead and pause it if you need to be able to draw that. Now we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. So there's our x-axis. So I'm just going to do, I have A prime, B prime, and C prime. These are going to be my new ordered pairs. All right, A prime. So we're reflecting over the x-axis, and remember that rule was to multiply its y-coordinate by -1. So we have -5, -3, 2, 0, and because that B point won't change because 0 was neither a positive or negative, and then 1, -2. So if we go ahead and graph our new image, I'm going to do that in blue for us, -5, and now instead of up 3, we're going to go down 3, A prime. B is still in the same spot, so it's B and B prime, and now C is over 1 and down 2, so C prime. And there we've just reflected our image over the x-axis. So go ahead and I want you guys to try the next one out on your own. Pause the video to do this, and when you come back, I'll have it done for you. Check it out. Does yours look the same as mine? I sure hope so. All right, now onto the back side of our notes. we're going to talk about that line of symmetry again. Remember, that's the reflection line. And sometimes we've also called it the axis of symmetry. All right, so let's go ahead. In this picture, it says state whether the object appears to have a line of symmetry. Write yes or no. If so, draw all the lines of symmetry and state their number. So let's go ahead and look here. In this picture, it's very symmetrical, and there's actually multiple lines of symmetry. So yes, and if we go ahead, and I can draw one through each of these, and that's actually going to get me many different lines of symmetry. So go ahead, start with one, and that ends here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 lines. All right, taking a look at picture B, it's the same thing. We're going to say if it's got a line of symmetry or not. If we're looking at it, I see that there's multiple designs, and the big thing that's drawing my attention is that purple triangle. Yes, partially because it's purple and my favorite color, but I'm looking and I don't see another purple triangle anywhere. Same thing with this star here. Now, if we were looking at that, and maybe that was our line of symmetry goes through there, but if I fold those two edges, this design here does not reflect over here. Actually looking at it, I can't find anywhere the design reflects itself. So we're going to say no, it does not have a line of symmetry. All right. Next, state whether the figure appears to have a line of symmetry. Write yes or no, and then state the number. So now instead of looking at some designs, we're actually looking at some figures that we are very familiar with. This is a good old triangle. And, oh, I can see right off the bat, lots of different places that we could fold it and it would look the same. So how many lines of symmetry do we have? We have 3 lines of symmetry. All right, take a look at B. It's a parallelogram. This one is a little tricky. So if you're not sure, think about if I folded it, would the parts line up again? So give it a thought. And I'm looking at it and I don't see anywhere. If I fold it here in this diagonal, this corner is going to be way above. This one is. If I go in half, those two sides aren't going to line up, neither here. So absolutely we do not have any lines of symmetry. All right, and here's our last two. Go ahead and give these two a try. When your neighbor is done watching the video, check it out with your neighbor and see what they got for C and D. Have a great day, guys.